in a stark and sobering assessment that stands in a sharp contrast to the cautious optimism surrounding peace talks in Washington. Ukraine's top military commander, General Oleksandr Syrskyi, has admitted that his forces are facing a crisis on the Eastern Front. His unusually candid remarks, delivered during a visit to frontline positions, paint a grim picture of a military stretch to its breaking points by relentless Russian assault, a severe shortage of manpower, and a crippling deficit in artillery ammunition and other critical munitions. The general's statements serve as a harsh dose of reality, puncturing the delicate bubble of diplomacy and underscoring the precariousness of Ukraine's battlefield position. While President Trump and European leaders discussed the architecture of a long-lasting peace, Syrskyi's words from the trenches highlight the urgent and existential threat that could render such discussions moot. The crisis, as detailed by military bloggers and confirmed by Syrskyi's admission, is not a singular event but a compounding of multiple persistent problems that have reached a critical mass. The situation is particularly dire in the Donetsk region, where Russian forces are leveraging their significant advantages in troops and firepower to achieve slow grinding but steady advances. The commander-in-chief specifically noted that Russia has concentrated its main strike force in the east and is conducting continuous assault operations days and night using assault groups supported by armored vehicle and a massive volume of artillery and air power. This relentless pressure is being applied across several key axes, most notably around the fortress city of Chasiv Yar and in the area west of Avdiivka, a city captured by Russia earlier in the year after a brutal month-long siege. The battle for Chasiv Yar has become a focal point of the Eastern Front. The city, situated on a strategic high ground, is seen as a gateway to the last major urban centers in the Donetsk region, still under Ukrainian control, primarily Kramatorsk and Sloviansk. Russian forces have been battering the city's defense for months, employing a scorched earth strategy that involved leveling entire city blocks with hundreds of powerful glide bombs before sending in infantry to storm the ruins. Syrskyi has acknowledged that the situation there is extremely difficult, with Russian troops making gains on the flanks and attempting to encircle the Ukrainian garrison. The loss of Chasiv Yar would represent a major strategic and symbolic blow to Ukraine, further complicating its defensive posture in the Donbass. The crisis is rooted in the two fundamental and interconnected challenges: a severe shortage of soldiers and a dire lack of ammunition. After more than 3 years of brutal, high-intensity warfare, Ukraine's pool of experienced and highly motivated volunteer soldiers has been severely depleted. The war has taken a heavy toll, and the country is now struggling to replenish its rank. A controversial mobilization law passed earlier in the years has yet to yield the required numbers of new recruits, and the process of training and equipping them to be effective on the modern battlefield is a slow and resource-intensive one. This manpower deficit means that existing brigades are exhausted, having been deployed on the front lines for extended period without adequate rotation or rest. Fatigued troops are more prone to error and have low morale, making it increasingly difficult to hold defensive lines against fresh waves of Russian attackers. The problem of shell hunger is equally, if not more, acute. For many months, Ukrainian artillery crews have been forced to operate under extreme rationing, a direct consequence of delay and shortfall in the delivery of military aid from Western partners. While Ukrainian gunners are often limited to a handful of shell per day, their Russian counterparts can fire thousands, creating a massive disparity in firepower. This artillery advantage allows Russia to systematically destroy Ukrainian defensive positions from a safe distance, suppress Ukrainian troops' movement, and provide overwhelming fire support for their own assault. It forces Ukrainian infantry to defend against attacks without the crucial artillery cover they need, leading to higher casualties and the gradual erosions of defense lines. General Syrskyi's admission is, in part, a direct appeal to Ukraine's international partners, including the Trump administration. It is a clear signal that without a rapid and substantial increase in the supply of ammunition, air defense systems, and other military hardware, the situation on the ground could deteriorate rapidly. While recent aid packages from the United States and European nations have begun to arrive at the front, military analysts caution that it will take time for these supplies to make a significant material difference and reverse the momentum Russia has built over a month of Ukrainian shortage. The Pentagon, under Secretary of Defense Peter Hegseth, responded to Syrskyi's comment by acknowledging the tough fight Ukraine is facing and reaffirming the U.S. commitment to expediting the delivery of military assistance. A spokesperson stated that the department is working around the clock to ensure that critical capabilities reach the front lines as quickly as possible. Russia, for its part, is keenly aware of Ukraine's vulnerabilities and is pressing its advantage. Moscow's strategy appeared to be one of attrition, using its greater population and vast stockpiles of older but still effective military equipment to wear down the Ukrainian military. Russian commanders are willing to accept staggering casualties in their infantry assault, knowing that they can replace their losses more readily than Ukraine can. By launching simultaneous offensive operations in multiple locations along the vast front line, Russia forces Ukraine to spread its already limited resources thin, preventing it from concentrating its force to mount a strong defense or launch its own counteroffensive. In response to the growing crisis, Ukraine is taking desperate measures. It is accelerating the construction of thousands of kilometers of new defensive fortifications, including trenches, bunkers, and anti-tank obstacles, in an effort to slow the Russian advance. There is also a growing reliance on domestically produced FPV first-person view drones, which have become a partial, albeit imperfect, substitute for artilleries. These cheap but effective drones are used to target Russian armor, infantry, and logistics, but they cannot replicate the suppressive and destructive power of a mass artillery barrage. The admission of a crisis by General Syrskyi adds a new layer of urgency and complexity to the peace negotiation being spearheaded by President Trump. It raises the stakes for all parties involved. For Ukraine, it is a desperate plea for the tools needed to survive and to negotiate from a position of strength, not desperation. For the Trump administration and its European allies, it is a stark reminder that any diplomatic solution must be underpinned by a credible military deterrent, and that a Ukrainian military collapse would fundamentally alter the geopolitical landscape of Europe. The grim reality from the Donbass served as a powerful counterpart to the discussion in Washington, a reminder that while the path to peace is being debated in quiet rooms, the war continues to rage with unrelenting ferocity. Many of my listeners, like 70%, haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel. And so many of you don't even know that you haven't subscribed. That is actually what makes the show going. It's almost like you're making a donation to the show. So that's why I ask again and again, because it enables us to grow and grow and grow. And we're going for the long haul here. And listen, if this is your first time listening to World Global Conflict, you don't have to subscribe. You guys, your first one's on me. But if you have watched this show before, it's like you are freeloader now. So all I would ask you is, if you have seen this show before and you like it, help me, help my team here. Hit that subscribe and like button now. And we will continue to build this show for you. That I swear. Thank you to all of you guys who have subscribed. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. That's all for me for today. I will see you soon. Bye for now.